Beautiful, intelligent, kind, but broken from the inside. Yin, in her early 20s, is the only breadwinner of her family. She lives with her ailing mother and a younger sister still in school. Since her father passed away, everything fell on her shoulders: rent, bills, medicine, tuition. Her dreams put on hold, her smile reserved for others, her heart still aching from a breakup. Flashback. Her ex, they dated for 2 years. He was everything people fall for: charming, handsome, romantic, but behind the perfect smile, he was self-centered. He wanted a woman who could be his shadow. He demanded attention, demanded she move abroad with him, demanded she cut ties with her family. You always care about your mom and sister more than me. I want a wife, not a caretaker. Can you love me more than your responsibilities? That was his love. He wanted Yin to choose him over her sick mother, to forget her life, her pain, her duty. When she refused, he broke her heart with a single sentence: "Then we're done." And just like that, the man she once called home became a stranger. Scene: Jeon Group building. Now, Yin is walking into Jeon Group, one of the most prestigious companies in Korea, to attend an interview. She has high hopes. She needs this job. It's her last resort. But fate has other plans. At that very moment, in the top floor office of the building, sits Jungkook. Jungkook, the cold CEO of Jeon Group, Korea's youngest billionaire, always dressed in sharp suits, with sharper words. Employees fear him, women adore him, but no one truly knows him. He's the man who smiles once a year, speaks only when needed, and treats emotions like weaknesses. But why? Because when he was 9 years old, his world shattered. He saw his mother kiss another man, not his father. He heard her say she never loved her husband, and he watched his father break silently. Since that day, Jungkook stopped trusting women. He stopped believing in love. His motto: control everything, trust no one. His father and grandfather, however, were still old-school romantics. They want to see him married, settled, human. Today, they storm into his office again. "We set up another blind date tonight. No excuses. You're almost 30, Jungkook. Find a woman, build a life." He sighs, tired, fed up. "No, I'm not going." His grandfather snaps, "Then tell us the truth. Do you already have someone?" Destiny strikes. As they argue, the elevator opens in the background. Yin steps out, nervous, holding her CV, her first interview in weeks. And that's when Jungkook sees her. White blouse, big eyes, tired, but quietly strong, like a wounded bird, still learning to fly. Before he realizes, he walks up to her, places a hand on her shoulder, and says, "Oh baby, you're here." Yin blinks. "As sir, I'm here for." His father and grandfather approach, eyebrows raised. "Who's this?" Jungkook. Without a pause, Jungkook lies, "My girlfriend." Yin chokes on her breath. WHAT. Jungkook tightens his grip slightly and whispers, "Please, just for now, I'll explain." His grandfather smiles wide. "She's gorgeous. What a surprise, Jungkook." His father claps his back. "Finally, a woman who isn't scared of you." Jungkook stiffened, but kept the act going. Yin blinked in shock, trying to process what was happening. She opened her mouth to deny it, to say she wasn't his girlfriend, but something in his eyes stopped her. He looked desperate. She forced a small smile and greeted them softly. "Nice to meet you, sir, grandfather." His grandfather beamed. "She's polite too. We must invite her to dinner this weekend." Before Yin could even blink, Jungkook quickly replied, "Why not? I'd love to have dinner with my girlfriend and family." "Perfect. Now we'll leave you to lovebirds alone." His father winked. Once the elders left, the charm in Jungkook's face vanished. He looked at Yin with genuine gratitude. "Thanks," he said. "I really didn't want that blind date. Things would have gotten messy." Yin replied dryly, "I don't need your thanks. I'm getting late. Please move." Jungkook furrowed his brow. Wait, why are you here? I haven't seen you before. I'm here for the interview, secretary post. He paused, then smirked. Come with me. She followed him hesitantly into his private office. Once inside, he sat behind his desk and looked straight at her. I'm the CEO, he said flatly. Let's get to the point. You got the job, but I want something in return. Yin's eyes widened. Excuse me. Jungkook leaned back. Help me. Pretend to be my girlfriend in front of my family just like you did today. I'll pay you triple salary, no strings, no personal involvement, just a clean arrangement. Be my secretary and my fake girlfriend. Yin was speechless. Are you serious? He slid a card toward her. Take your time. If you agree, contact me on this number, not the office one, my personal line. She took the card and left quietly, her heart racing. 2 days passed. Her mother suddenly collapsed at home with severe chest pain. At the hospital, doctors confirmed it was a heart attack. The bills were impossible. She begged. Friends, none helped. Everyone had their own issues. She called her ex in desperation. Please, my mother. He cut her off. Don't call me. I don't care about your family. I told you before I wanted you, not your baggage. Don't disturb me again. The call dropped. Yin stood in the hospital hallway, trembling. She had no one, no money, no hope. And then she remembered Jungkook. It was 1 a.m. Her fingers trembled as she dialed the number on the card. Hello? His voice was groggy. Sir, this is Yin, from the interview. He blinked, sitting up. Miss Yin, I accept your offer, she said shakily. But I need the money now. Jungkook paused. Miss Yin, are you okay? I'm fine. Just send the money, please. He heard a voice in the background yelling, give the money now or her mother dies. Doctor, please. 5 more minutes, Yin cried. Tell me the hospital name, Jungkook said urgently. She gave it. Within 25 minutes, Jungkook arrived breathless, messy, holding a brown envelope full of cash. He ran inside and found her. She was crying quietly, trying to stay strong. He handed the envelope to the counter. Pay it all, now. As they admitted her mother, Yin collapsed onto the hospital bench. She whispered, Thank you. Jungkook stood beside her. He didn't speak, because deep down, despite his cold act, he had a soft spot for people who begged for their loved ones. He once owed Yin and now he had paid it back. Jungkook didn't leave Yin's side. He stayed with her through the long, tense hours outside the ICU, quietly watching over her and her unconscious mother. As dawn broke, the doctor finally emerged and said, Your mother is out of danger now. Yin gasped in relief, her knees almost giving out beneath her. She turned to Jungkook with tears in her eyes and whispered, Thank you. I'm so sorry for disturbing you like this. I'll join the office shortly. But Jungkook shook his head. It's okay. Take your time. And don't thank me. I already owe you one. A week later, Yin joined the office as his new secretary. She was professional, punctual, and deeply focused on her work. But it didn't take long for whispers to spread. Isn't she the CEO's girlfriend? I saw them together in the lobby last week. Is she just a secretary or something more? Rumors of their relationship spread like wildfire. Yin tried her best to ignore them. She didn't mind. She had a quiet respect for Jungkook. In fact, somewhere inside, she had started to feel grateful for him. He had helped her when no one else did. He didn't ask unnecessary questions, and in return, she was determined to help him with whatever he needed. Jungkook, on the other hand, was trying his best to remain the cold-hearted, emotionless CEO everyone feared. He barely spoke more than necessary. He kept his tone sharp, his eyes unreadable, and his walls high, but inside, he remembered that night, the desperation in her voice, the fear in her eyes, the pain of seeing her mother like that, and the way she held herself together. Still, he didn't show anything. One day, his family called again. His father insisted on dinner. Bring your girlfriend this weekend, he said firmly. It's been a while. We miss her. Jungkook sighed. Fine. Later, he told Yin, get ready for dinner. This weekend, I'll pick you up. Yin nodded professionally. Should I choose the dress or? He cut her off. Don't spend money. I'll take you an hour before to buy something suitable. And he did. That weekend, he picked her up as promised. They went to a high-end mall. He selected a sleek black dress for her, elegant, graceful, and simple. When she stepped out of the dressing room, he froze. For the first time, he saw her not as an employee or a helper or a deal, but as a woman. She looked stunning, but he swallowed hard, kept his expression blank, and simply said, let's go. Double quotes. A tea dinner. They acted the part perfectly, holding hands, smiling politely, making eye contact, whispering inside jokes. It was all part of the act, but his family didn't know that. They were thrilled. His grandparents adored Yin. His father praised her grace. His younger cousin even whispered to her, you're the first one he's brought home. You must be special. And Yin couldn't deny she had fun. She laughed, she talked, she felt accepted. It almost felt real. After that day, Jungkook's family kept inviting her. They called her directly. They sent small gifts. They would often say, you've changed him. He smiles more now. Thank you for being in his life. And then one day, his family surprised them. They secretly booked a one-week vacation for Jungkook and Yin, just the two of them. Because they were so happy with the relationship, they wanted the couple to spend some quality time together. Jian Jungkook didn't want to go on this trip, not because the countryside was boring, not because he didn't have time, but because everything about this fake relationship was becoming real, and that terrified him more than anything else. Still, he agreed only to avoid another ridiculous blind date. Fine, he sighed. His family, delighted, clapped their hands. We just want a few photos of you two together. They grinned. Send us pictures every day. It'll be like a honeymoon preview. Yin forced a smile. Jungkook looked away. Neither of them believed in this charade, but they were both in it now. They left for the countryside 2 days later. Jungkook booked 2 separate rooms. You don't need to pretend when it's just us, he said. Rest, do whatever you like, but we'll need pictures during the day. Yin nodded. Got it, boss. He looked at her for a second. Don't call me boss when we're here. She smiled faintly. Fine. Fake fianc. The first 2 days went better than expected. They explored quiet mountain roads, beautiful flower fields, and riverside cafes. They even laughed once or twice, mostly for the camera, but some smiles were real. They looked like the perfect couple online. They weren't, but the peace was nice. Until the 3rd day. They had just finished lunch at a small hilltop restaurant. Yin stood up and froze. Oh no, my purse and phone. I left them in the car. Jungkook sighed. It's okay. We'll get them after the photos. They walked toward a local street market for their next couple picture, but Jungkook stopped, frozen, his eyes locked on a woman standing just ahead, back turned. Long hair, wearing a coat just like. His heart dropped, his breath caught. The air around him changed. No, why are you here? Yin turned, confused. Jungkook, but he wasn't listening. Why did you come back? He whispered, voice trembling. You ruined everything, and now you're back. Why? He took a step forward. The woman turned around. It wasn't her, but it was too late. The pain had already been ripped open. He screamed, why did you leave me and Dad? Why did you choose him over us? You ruined everything. The woman, frightened, backed away. Yin rushed toward him, grabbed his wrist. Jungkook, stop, please, don't touch me, he screamed, tears falling freely. Leave me alone, I said leave. He shook off her hand violently and ran, blindly, wildly, tears and rage clouding everything. He got in the car, slamming the door. He didn't think, he just drove. He left Yin behind. In the hotel parking lot, he slammed the brakes, His hands shook on the steering wheel. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't stop the flood inside his chest. And then, he broke down. He screamed. He punched the steering wheel. He covered his face and cried. She never came back. She never looked back. Why does it still hurt? He was no longer Jungkook, the cold CEO. He was a 9-year-old boy again. An hour passed, Jungkook sat in his car, parked outside the hotel, his head against the steering wheel, fists clenched, tears still drying on his cheeks. The weight of his past had dragged him into a storm he thought he'd buried long ago, until suddenly, Yin. His breath hitched, his eyes widened. She had no phone, no purse. I left her there. His stomach dropped. Without wasting another second, he wiped his face, turned the key, and sped off, tires screeching, heart racing. Please be there. Please don't be scared. There she was, sitting on a bench, hugging herself, eyes wide, holding back tears, lost, alone. He froze. Her arms tightened around herself when she saw him, but she didn't say a word. He walked closer, slow and heavy with guilt. Something urgent came up, he said, voice low, avoiding her eyes. It's handled now. Let's go. A lie. He was still trembling inside, but he couldn't bring himself to tell her the truth. Yin looked at him quietly. She wanted to ask, "Are you okay? What happened? Why did you leave like that?" But her lips didn't move. She just nodded, and they walked in silence, two people carrying weight neither of them could explain. The hotel room felt heavier that night. Yin didn't ask what happened. She wanted to. She wanted to know what hurt him that much. But sometimes, silence is kinder than questions. She texted him after an hour. "Dinner together." He replied, "Already ate," but she knew he hadn't. She stared at the wall, then got up, walked to his room, knocked gently. He opened the door, surprised. "You need anything?" "No, I just..." He cut her off. Not harsh but tired. "I'm really exhausted. Let's talk tomorrow, okay? Just get some rest." She looked at him. He looked away, because he was ashamed. Ashamed that she saw him cry. Ashamed that she saw him break. Ashamed that the mask cracked. She wanted to say, "I don't think less of you," but she didn't. She nodded and walked away. Behind the door, Jungkook leaned against the wall. Why did I care? She saw that, and for the first time, he realized she wasn't just pretending anymore, and neither was he. That night, neither Yin nor Jungkook could sleep. They lay in separate rooms, but their thoughts were tangled together. Yin stared at the ceiling. Her mind was full of one person, him. Why did he break down like that? What happened to him that made his pain look so deep, so silent, so loud all at once? She clenched her fists. She couldn't ignore it anymore. She cared, not just because he was her boss, or because he had helped her family, but because he was hurting, and she wanted to be there for him. Meanwhile, Jungkook sat on the edge of his bed, drenched in cold sweat. His hands trembled slightly as he tried to calm his racing heartbeat. Why am I like this? Why does her face come to my mind now? Why does Yin's silence feel like comfort and danger all at once? He ran his fingers through his hair. This isn't real. She's just helping me. She's not mine. I can't feel anything. I shouldn't. But deep down, something had started to shift and he was terrified. The next morning, no messages, no calls. Jungkook hadn't shown up for breakfast, nor called Yin like usual. Her heart felt uneasy. With hesitant steps, she knocked on his room door. No reply. She waited, and then, after almost 2 minutes, the door opened, and there he stood, pale, weak, sweaty forehead, barely able to keep his balance. He didn't speak. He simply turned and walked back inside, stumbling halfway. Yin gasped, instantly rushing to support him. "Careful, Jungkook, you're burning up." She helped him sit on the bed. He looked like he hadn't slept or eaten or even moved. "Rest here. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Give me your room key," she said, assertively, her eyes full of concern. He didn't argue, just nodded weakly. Yin ran. She returned minutes later with fever medicine, a bowl of cold water, a cloth, and a simple breakfast. She sat next to him the entire day, changing the cloth on his forehead, helping him sit up when he was too weak to move, feeding him warm soup slowly, wiping the sweat off his face, but not saying a word. She just stayed. By nightfall, he whispered hoarsely, "Yin, go to sleep. You've been up all day." She shook her head softly. "No, your fever is still high. I'm not leaving." He smiled just a flicker before falling asleep, and she stayed all night. She didn't sleep. She just stared at him, wondering what kind of pain he had buried inside. The next morning, the sunlight peeked into the room. Jungkook slowly opened his eyes and saw something that made his breath hitch. Yin, asleep in the chair beside his bed, head resting near his arm, hair messy, eyes tired, still holding the damp cloth from last night. His heart ached, but this time, not from pain. It was warm, strange, familiar. No one's ever done this for me before. He didn't move. He just stared at her, like she was the safest thing he'd ever seen. She woke up moments later, yawning lightly. "You're awake," she whispered, rubbing her eyes. "How are you feeling?" "Much better," he said quietly. "Fever's gone." "Good." She smiled softly. "Go take a warm shower. I'll clean this up." He didn't argue this time. Later that morning, after breakfast which they ordered and ate together in his room, she looked at him gently. "Can I ask you something, sir?" He nodded. What happened that day? Why did you break down like that?" Jungkook tensed. His spoon paused mid-air. I can't talk about it," he muttered. "I just lost control." "It's okay," Yin said softly, reaching out and gently placing her hand over his. "If you're not ready, don't force it, but don't fight alone. That's what makes things worse." He looked down at their hands, and for the first time, didn't pull away. Silence, heavy but comforting. Finally, after a long moment, he whispered, "My mother left us when I was 9. She cheated on my dad and ran away with someone else. She said she didn't want this life. She said she didn't love me. I haven't seen her since." His voice broke. "I've carried that image, her walking away, for years. And when I saw that woman, it was like I was 9 again." Tears welled in his eyes. "I wasn't angry at her. I was angry at me, because part of me still hoped she'd come back." Yin's eyes filled with tears. She leaned forward and hugged him tightly. "It's not your fault. None of it. You were a child, and you were strong to survive it. I'm so sorry, Jungkook." And just like that, he broke. Years of pain poured out silently as he cried in her arms. No one had ever held him like this. No one had ever asked how he was. No one had ever seen him. They sat like that for hours. No words, just warmth, just comfort, until finally he whispered, "Thank you, but please don't treat me differently after this." She smiled through tears. "You're still my boss, and I still think you're a stubborn, cold perfectionist." He laughed for the first time in what felt like years. "But," she added, "you're also a human, a good one, and someone I respect a lot." That night, before leaving his room, Yin paused at the door. "You said we'll go somewhere better tomorrow." "Yeah." He smiled. "Let's enjoy one day like actual people." She nodded, returned to her room, and lay down, her heart unsure if it was still part of this act anymore, because somewhere between fake smiles and real pain, she had seen him, and she didn't know if she could walk away anymore. The final day of the trip, the morning sun rose gently over the mountains, golden light streaming through the window. Yin stepped out of her room dressed in soft beige knitwear, hair loosely tied, her cheeks glowing naturally after the peaceful sleep. Jungkook was already outside, leaning against the car, wearing a relaxed sweatshirt, no suit, no watch, just him. "You look different," Yin said, her voice warm. "You too," Jungkook replied, a small smile curving his lips. "Ready for our last day?" Let's make it count, she smiled. They drove up toward the high hills, cool wind rushing through the open windows, soft laughter blending with the breeze. This time, there was no camera pressure, no faking it for his family. They laughed genuinely, they smiled from the heart, they teased each other, played silly road trip games, argued over music choices. They clicked pictures this time not for proof, but for memories. At the top, they shared hot coffee from a local stall, sitting on a wooden bench facing the mountains. Hard to believe this is all just an act, right? Yin chuckled softly. Jungkook turned to her, eyes serious for a second. Yeah, feels like more than that now. But neither said anything further. A tea night. They both posted a picture together on social media, a simple one, just them sitting on the mountaintop, smiling. His caption read, "Found peace in unexpected places." That evening, after dinner and a small bonfire by the guest house lawn, they sat in Yin's room just talking, laughing, reminiscing, opening up in ways they never expected. The room was dimly lit, their voices hushed. Time slipped past unnoticed. Until Yin glanced at her phone and gasped, "It's 4 a.m. No way." Jungkook blinked. "We really talked that much. I guess we needed it," she said, smiling. He stood, a bit reluctant. "We should sleep. It's a long drive tomorrow." "Yeah. Good night, Jungkook. Good night, Yin." He walked out quietly, and for the first time, they both slept peacefully. They packed up the next morning, shared breakfast, loaded the car, and set off. The entire way back, soft music, small jokes, easy silences. Every now and then, they caught each other looking, and looked away with a smile. Something had changed. They didn't know what it was, they didn't say it, but they felt it. By afternoon, they reached the familiar buzz of the city, skyscrapers, traffic, reality. The silence in the car grew heavier as they neared her home. Neither wanted to say it, but they both felt it. "So, this is it," Yin said softly as the car stopped in front of her house. "Yeah," Jungkook nodded, "back to being CEO and secretary, huh?" She smiled, eyes soft. "Thank you for this trip, for everything." "Thank you, Yin," he replied. "Let's see each other tomorrow." He smiled and waved as she stepped out. She waved back, heart heavy but warm. He drove away. Until her smile faded, her steps slowed, her breath caught, because standing by her house gate was him, her ex, the man who broke her heart, waiting with arms crossed, a smug look on his face. "So all dressed up and smiling. Seems like you're doing well without me." Yin froze, heart sinking. She didn't know what was coming next, but she knew it wouldn't be easy. Not now, not when her heart had just started to heal. Leaning against the gate, smirking like nothing ever broke. "So, who is he?" he said, his tone sharp, posting pictures, holding hands, coffee dates, mountain trips. "You've got a lot of time now, huh? Where was this time when I needed it? When your mother was so sick?" Yin's eyes narrowed. "Get lost. I don't want to talk to you." "Tell me who he is." "Why would I?" His expression darkened. He suddenly grabbed her wrist tightly. "I said, who is he? Leave me. Are you crazy?" she shouted, struggling to free herself. "Just tell me what's he got that I don't." "He's my boyfriend," she yelled. He froze. Her words pierced him like a knife, but his grip didn't loosen. You have time for someone else now? Time you never had for me? Is that it?" Slap. She slapped him so hard, his head turned sideways. "I said, leave." Finally, he let go. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm just hurt, Yin. Seeing you with someone else. It's none of your business." "Give me another chance," he pleaded. "I'll do better. I'll accept your family. Just come back." "You didn't accept them before," she snapped. "You didn't answer when I begged for help that night. Don't you dare come back just because you're jealous now. It's not like that." "It is. You're jealous. You thought I'd never move on. But guess what? I did. And I won't come back to someone who only shows up when it hurts his ego. Please, he's everything you never were, Mr. J. Now leave. He sank to the ground, crying silently. She didn't even look back, but from her window that night, she saw him, still sitting outside. She remembered the hospital, the call he never answered. She turned away. The stalking begins. The next morning, Yin dressed for work, shaking off the unease, but as she opened the door, there he was again. Leave, or I'm calling the police. You're going to him again, aren't you? It's none of your business. If I see you here again, I will call the police. She hurried to the office, heart racing. He followed her, quietly, like a shadow. She entered the building, forcing a smile as she saw Jungkook near the elevator. Good morning, she said, breathless. He smiled back, not sensing anything not yet, but rumors were swirling. Their photos were everywhere. The staff whispered as they passed by. Jungkook's parents were thrilled. They even sent texts. You both look so happy. Send more pics, son. But Yin wasn't happy. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't breathe. Every time she turned a corner, she felt him. And then it happened. A text, come back to me, or I'll ruin your life, followed by another, tell anyone, and I'll make sure your family pays. She froze. Her hands shook. The next day, as she approached Jeon Corp's entrance, he was waiting again. Come back, he said darkly, or I'll ruin your image here. Suddenly, a sleek black car screeched to a halt. Jungkook stepped out. Yin. Seeing him, the ex fled with a glare. Who was that? Jungkook asked, concerned. No one, she whispered. Just an old friend. But Jungkook wasn't stupid. He noticed the fear in her eyes. He ordered someone to keep quiet watch on Yin's movements from afar, and what he discovered made his blood boil. The very next day, outside the building, the ex was back. This time, he didn't care who saw. He grabbed Yin's wrist roughly. I said come back. She winced in pain. Let me go. Someone help. Boom. Jungkook's fist landed straight into the guy's face. You insane piece of trash. Jungkook roared. How dare you touch her? The ex stumbled back, but tried to argue. You don't know her like I do. She's a liar. She's using you. For your money, all she cares about is her family. Shut up, Jungkook growled, punching again. The security guards rushed in, but Jungkook shoved them back. You think I don't know her? I know everything, and even if she was using me, she's still 10 times better than you. He landed another punch, fury in his eyes. You left her when she needed you. Don't come back now, just because someone else treats her better. Yin grabbed his arm, pleading, Jungkook, stop please, everyone's watching. He paused, breathing heavily, his knuckles bleeding. The ex stumbled and ran, disappearing into the crowd. Jungkook turned to Yin, eyes still burning with anger. But she stepped closer. Thank you, she whispered, for protecting me. He didn't say anything, but the way his hand gently reached to fix her sleeve said everything. Aftermath: a silent storm. Jungkook stormed into his office, fists clenched, breathing hard. Yin followed him in, heart pounding. Why didn't you tell me earlier that he was blackmailing you? He asked, without turning around. His voice was low, almost shaking. Yin swallowed hard. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't want to disturb you. I know we're just boss and employee. I didn't want to cause any mess. He finally turned to face her. Yin, are you seriously saying that right now? It's true. She looked down. I just thought, it's not your responsibility. Responsibility? He snapped, stepping closer. Am I still a stranger to you? Do you really think so little of me? His voice cracked slightly. Why do you think I brought you here? He asked. You helped me once when I was cornered. You played along, no questions asked. Do you really think I wouldn't be there for you when you needed someone? She stayed quiet. He took a deep breath. I didn't know anything until yesterday, he admitted, voice softer now. When I saw him with you, you looked scared. So I asked my guards to keep an eye on you, just to be sure. Yin's eyes widened. Wait, you knew he was my ex? I just assumed. He looked away, but when the reports came in, and I saw the messages, saw how long you've been suffering silently, He paused, his jaw tightening. Why'd you stop? Yin asked gently. Because it doesn't matter how I feel, right? He scoffed. We're nothing more than a fake couple. Silence. She stepped forward. Give me your hand. She said softly. You're bleeding. It's nothing. I said give it. She gently took his hand. His knuckles were torn from the punches. She carefully cleaned the blood, wrapping a bandage over them. Her touch was light, warm, careful. Jungkook stared at her like she was something fragile and powerful at the same time. Don't keep things from me anymore, he said, voice barely a whisper. She nodded, eyes glimmering with guilt. I promise. Later that night, the wind howled outside Yin's window. She tucked her sister into bed, kissed her mother's forehead, and finally slipped under her own blanket, exhausted but, strangely, at peace. But peace is short-lived. Crash, a loud sound jolted her up. Voices, footsteps, men. Her blood turned to ice, peeking through the curtain. Her heart dropped. It was him. Jay, her ex, and this time, he wasn't alone. There were 8 men with him, holding rods, laughing like devils. Yin, he shouted, you think you can hide behind that suit-wearing bastard? Huh, come out, I'm not here to play. She froze. Her mother grabbed her hand. Her little sister whimpered. She pulled them inside the storeroom, locked the door. Mama, I'm scared, her sister whispered. Shh, it's okay, Yin said, trembling, but her voice betrayed her. Her hands fumbled as she grabbed her phone, the screen slipping from her shaking fingers. Finally, she hit his number. Yin, Jungkook's voice snapped through the line. What happened? They're breaking in. He's here, with men. Don't panic. I'm coming. I'm on my way. Just stay inside and hold on. 15 minutes later, the front door was now smashed open, furniture flipped, glass shattered. Jay walked in slowly. Come out, Yin. I still love you. I still forgive you. Just come out, baby. She's not your baby. A deep, cold voice echoed through the room. Jay turned. Jungkook stood at the entrance, dark eyes, darker rage. His coat blew in the wind. He took one step forward. I told you. Jungkook cracked his knuckles. Stay away from her. And then boom. The first punch landed on Jay's jaw. The other men charged too late. Jungkook was fire and fury. He tore through all 8 men like a storm. Fists, elbows, knees, screams. They crawled, they begged, they ran, all except Jay. Jungkook grabbed him by the hair. You messed with the wrong woman. He kicked him again, blood everywhere. And then, Yin, Jungkook shouted, still panting, it's over. Come out. The storeroom creaked open. Yin stepped out, shaking, sweat sticking to her forehead, her eyes wide in shock. He's gone, Jungkook said, softly. They're all gone. Don't be scared. But Jay still laid there, moaning. Jungkook looked at her. Do it. Doubly what? Hurt him, like he hurt you. Take it all out, Yin. She hesitated, but her fists clenched. She saw her mother's tears, her sister's fear. She remembered the hospital, the rejection, the mocking texts, and then, slap, Jay's head whipped sideways. Punch, another, and another. She let it all out. Years of pain, fear, rage. Jungkook stood there, stunned. For once, he saw how much she had suffered. Enough. He finally whispered, bring him to her feet. He dragged Jay by the collar and threw him on the ground. Beg for forgiveness. Beg. Jay cried, blood dripping. I'm sorry, please, Yin. Don't kill me. Kill you. Jungkook laughed coldly. You're lucky it's her choice. He looked at her. Want me to finish him off? Yin stared down at the mess of a man she once loved. No, she said coldly. I already killed the version of me that loved you. Jungkook smirked and nodded. Mr. Kim. he said into his earpiece. Location sent. Take him to our place. Make sure he's never seen again. Mr. Kim pulled up. 2 more men took Jae tied up and unconscious. Jungkook turned to Yin. It's over. She collapsed into his arms, trembling. It's okay, I'm here, he whispered, stroking her hair. I got you. Inside the house, her mother was pale, her sister still crying. Jungkook bent to his knees. I'm sorry you had to witness that, ma'am, but you're safe now. I promise you no one will ever touch this house again. He gently hugged her mother, tapped her sister's head. You're brave, kid. Smile for me, hum. Her sister sniffled and smiled faintly. He cleaned up the broken pieces, made calls to fix the door, called a maid service. ATM. The house was back to peace. He stood up, dusting his coat. I'll stay nearby until morning, and I'm assigning a 24/7 guard here. Yin looked at him. Thanks, but you don't have to. Don't say that, he said firmly. You're not alone anymore. Later that evening, just as the sky turned golden, the doorbell rang. Yin opened it. There he stood, Jeon Jungkook, with bags of groceries, a small new coffee table, and warm food. I figured your dinner got ruined last night, he said. You didn't have to. I know, he smiled, stepping inside, but I wanted to. They sat together with her family, and for the first time in a long, long while, Yin felt safe, and Jungkook didn't feel alone. They weren't lovers, they weren't strangers, they weren't even friends exactly, but somehow, they belonged in each other's space. Jungkook and Yin grew closer over the weeks, too close for nothing, too silent for everything. She laughed freely with him. He dropped his cold CO walls for her. He dropped her home every day. Sometimes, he even brought her over to his family's mansion, saying, Grandfather and Dad missed you. Double quotes. No labels. No questions. No confessions, but a connection deep enough to make the stars jealous. The grand party, the Jeon mansion shimmered in lights that night, red velvet carpet, crystal chandeliers, flashing cameras, the biggest party of the year hosted by Jeon family royalty. Yin stepped in wearing a red off-shoulder dress, her hair curled, eyes soft, lips bold. She looked like a dream wrapped in silk. Jungkook, in a fitted black suit, stood near the entrance breathless as he saw her. You look, he paused, like you belong to the stars, and you, she smirked, look like trouble. They walked in together. People whispered, such a perfect couple, look at the way they stand. He's smiling. He never smiles. Her family stood a few steps behind, blushing with pride. His family, over the moon, but no one knew the truth. Halfway through the night, Jungkook's grandfather raised a toast. We welcome all of you today to celebrate the future of this family. The crowd turned. And this is not just a party, it's an announcement. He looked at Yin with a smile. Let's hear it for our daughter-in-law, Miss Perfection herself. Yin. Cheers erupted, and now his father continued. The engagement surprise you've all been waiting for. Jungkook blinked. What? Yin froze beside him. The crowd moved. The spotlight hit them. Suddenly, they were pulled onto the stage. A velvet box opened, 2 rings inside. Jungkook, son, go ahead, make her yours. Jungkook leaned closer to her, whispering fast, please, don't panic, we'll figure this out. Just go with it for now. Yin took a deep breath. Okay, just for now. They slid the rings onto each other's fingers. Applause roared, but it wasn't over. Kiss, 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 everyone chanted. Jungkook looked at her, his eyes unsure, but respectful. He would never touch her without permission. But then, Yin stepped forward. Sorry, she whispered. We have to sell it. She kissed him. His world stopped. At first, he panicked, but then, he kissed her back. Soft, gentle, hesitant, but real. The cheers behind them faded. In that second. It was just her lips and his heart beating too loud. Hours later, they sat on the rooftop, the moon above, the city lights below, both unable to look at each other. Jungkook finally broke the silence. I'm sorry, it's all because of me. I just wanted to avoid the blind dates. I didn't know it would come this far. Yin looked down at her ring. It's okay, I understand. A pause. Can I ask something? She whispered. Yeah. Why did you want a fake relationship in the first place? Jungkook exhaled. Because I don't trust people anymore. Because I've been lied to, abandoned, used. Because I'm scared of falling in love. Yin turned her face. So, you tried not to fall, but what if you already did? He blinked. What? Nothing. She smiled bitterly. You'll find someone, one day. He didn't answer, because deep down he already had. They looked at each other, breath caught. They leaned in, inches from another kiss. Meow. A cat jumped from the corner of the rooftop. They instantly pulled back, faces red. I think we should sleep. Jungkook stammered. Your room's ready. But when they reached his room, oh ho ho ho, Grandpa smirked. I told the servant to prepare one room. Doubly what? Jungkook choked. You're engaged now. Sleep together like adults. Good night. Door slammed. They stood frozen. I am sorry. Jungkook stuttered. I'll tell them the truth. Yin stopped him. It's okay, bestie. We'll manage. He smiled softly. Bestie, huh? She laughed. What else are we, Jeon? He couldn't answer, because in that moment, surrounded by soft pillows, matching rings and stolen kisses, even he didn't know what they were anymore, but he knew one thing for sure. He never wanted this night to end. The night was quiet, the air soft, the room dimly lit. Yin stood near the bed in one of Jungkook's white shirts, her hair damp, framing her face. She looked breathtaking, not in a glamorous way but in the most raw, natural way. Jungkook walked in holding a jug of water, his shirt slightly wrinkled, hair messy from running, his hands through it too many times. His steps froze, his breath hitched. Water, he said, his voice quieter than usual, handing it to her. Thanks, Yin said softly, but as she reached out, her grip slipped, the water spilled cool, sudden soaking through the thin white shirt. She gasped. He turned quickly, averting his eyes like a true gentleman. I'm so sorry, she muttered, flustered, pulling the shirt down as if to hide. It's okay. Jungkook stammered. I didn't see anything, I swear. But when she moved in a hurry to turn around, she slipped, again, and this time, she fell forward, straight into his arms. He tried to catch her, but gravity won. They landed on the bed, on top of each other. The room stilled. Their eyes met. His hand was on her back, her palm rested on his chest, feeling the wild rhythm of his heartbeat. They didn't speak. They just breathed. No words passed, only breaths. Warm, fast, nervous, and then, he slowly turned his face back toward hers. Yin, his voice cracked, tell me to stop. She didn't. I can't keep pretending, he whispered, his forehead brushing hers. I didn't want this. I didn't want to fall. But I did. With you. He cupped her face like she was something rare, precious. And I think I already lost the fight. Her lips trembled. Then, don't fight. That's all it took. His lips met hers again, but this time, it wasn't soft. It wasn't careful. It was desperate, heated. They kissed like they were making up for every second they had denied this. His hands roamed up her back, pulling her impossibly closer. Her legs tangled around his. Her fingers slipped under the hem of his shirt, feeling the warmth of his skin, the shiver that ran through him at her touch. Jungkook pulled away for air, their lips red, swollen, their chests pressed together, rising and falling like waves crashing in sync. Are you sure? He asked, eyes burning into hers. Yes, she whispered. I want this. I want you. They kissed again, messier, deeper. Clothes slipped away like petals falling from a flower, slow, beautiful, vulnerable. Skin met skin, and no more boundaries. Just heartbeats, just confessions they didn't say with words but with fingertips, lips, shaky breaths. Their bodies moved together, finding rhythm in stillness, in softness, in sighs. Jungkook kissed her collarbone, her shoulder, her cheeks every inch like a silent promise, and when he whispered, "You're safe, with me, always," Yin knew she'd never be the same. Later, long after the moon had crossed the sky, they lay there, tangled in sheets, wrapped in each other. Jungkook brushed her hair back and kissed her closed eyelids. "I've never felt this close to someone before," he admitted. Yin smiled against his chest. "Me neither." They didn't say "I love you" again that night. They didn't need to. Their bodies, their touches, the way they held each other in the dark, it all said it. Loud and clear. They had crossed every boundary, and neither wanted to go back. The morning sunlight gently crept through the curtains. Jungkook blinked, awake slowly, the softness of the bed unfamiliar, today not because of its texture, but because of her presence. Beside him, Yin slept peacefully, her hair spread on the pillow, her breathing calm. She looked nothing like the girl he met months ago, nervous, tired, desperate, and neither did he feel like the cold-hearted CEO anymore. Something shifted that night. They didn't speak about it, but everything changed. From that day on, they weren't just pretending anymore. They woke up, dressed up quietly, shared shy glances over breakfast, and went back to the real world, but it no longer felt fake. In the office, Jungkook found himself watching her more, checking her comfort, asking if she had eaten. And Yin, she smiled more now. She waited for him after meetings. She even brought him extra coffee when she knew he had deadlines. They were becoming something real. Jungkook started talking at first, little things, like how he loved mint chocolate even, though everyone hated it, how his dad used to braid his hair when he was a kid, and then the deeper stuff, his fears, his trauma, how he had forgotten what real love looked like after his mother walked away, how he grew up believing love always leaves, and Yin never judged, she just listened. Sometimes she held his hand, sometimes she said nothing because that was all he needed. And then came her turn. She told him about her struggles, her sick mother, the time she cried all night after her ex abandoned her, how she thought she was hard to love. Jungkook looked her dead in the eyes that day and said, "You're not hard to love, Yin. You just loved the wrong person." And for the first time, she believed it. He taught her how to ride a bike on their day off. She cooked for him one night and almost set the kitchen on fire, but he still said it was the best meal ever. They watched movies at his place, her head on his shoulder, his fingers in her hair. He fell asleep once during work, and she quietly placed her scarf around his shoulders. He whispered, "You're my peace," one night when she was half asleep and thought she wouldn't hear it, but she did. They never officially said, "I love you," but they lived it every day. From the way he'd stop his meeting to answer her calls, to the way she waited for him in the office no matter how late it got, to the way they'd fall asleep, limbs tangled, hearts calm. Everyone saw it, even his family. One evening, while they walked through the same countryside they once visited for that fake trip, Jungkook suddenly stopped. "Do you remember this place?" "Of course, our fake honeymoon," she giggled. He turned to face her, holding a small velvet box in his hand. "Let's make it real now." Tears welled in her eyes. No dramatic speeches, no big gestures, just two people, once broken, now whole because they healed each other. She said yes. The wedding it wasn't a grand one it was soft, intimate, with fairy lights and laughter. Her mother walked her down the aisle. His father hugged her tighter than ever. Jungkook looked at her in a white dress and whispered, "I was afraid to fall in love, but I'm glad I fell for you." They kissed, this time, not because the world asked them to, but because their hearts did. Years later, their home was filled with noise and warmth. Two little tornadoes, a boy and a girl, ran around the house with matching bunny slippers. Jungkook was the best dad, patient, gentle, full of bedtime stories and bubble baths. Yin, she was their superhero, the healer of wounds, the maker of pancakes, the queen of hugs, and sometimes, In quiet moments after the kids fell asleep, Jungkook would pull her close and whisper, "Thank you for staying. Thank you for saving me." And she'd reply, "You saved me too, Jungkook." Because love didn't save them, they saved each other, step by step, hand in hand, from fake to forever. From pretending love to becoming love itself, and even after all this time he still looked at her like she was his beginning, and she looked at him like he was her home.